I didn't watch. I missed a lot of the game,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to watch it live. Just like what I would track it, the game. I don't know what you call it, like the game day tracker on the NFL app,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, man, they had 0 sacks heading into the fourth quarter, and maybe 1 tackle for loss, and so I thought this game must just be a mess, and you were messaging some of the stuff, so the
Yeah.
strip sack, fumble, and different stuff. I was like, this just must be one messy offensive game. Looking at the game later and then hearing people talk about it, I think the Vikings actually did really good. It was a good bounce back game for their defense in shutting offense down. But I do think, like Darnold had 3 turnovers, also had 3 touchdowns. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the Darnold
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
And
I mean, how like the thing about Darnold is like guys like Jordan Love, which maybe by the end of the season he'll be more, people will have a more realistic view of him. But it's like, is Love really that much better than Darnold? Um, I just think Darnold has a reputation that precedes him, particularly because, Monday Night Football, however many years ago, picked him up saying, I'm seeing ghosts. And so I think he's become kind of a meme.
yeah,
And so it's like, I mean, even Brett Favre would like throw a ton of interceptions and then win the game.
yeah,
And so there's a degree to which it's like, all right, like this is not who I want as my franchise quarterback going forward necessarily, but like, I'll take it if he wins games, you know.
yeah, yeah. And I think you're definitely right. There's definitely a Darnold effect. People think he's going to turn into a pumpkin. There's also, because I was looking at numbers comparing him. I think I was comparing Baker Mayfield. I was looking at him and Kirk Cousins. They're very similar. Darnold's significantly cheaper. And I would also say I think Darnold takes better shots downfield than Cousins does. So, like, personally, I would rather have that, especially with some of the weapons that the Vikings have. But then, like, compared to a lot of the other, he's up there in touchdown passes. He's got a similar amount of interceptions thrown. He started the season so hot that now, kind of where he's at now, it's like, oh, it feels like he's falling apart. It's kind of a back to the mean in a sense. But like you
Mhm.
said, I don't know that it's actually that much worse than some other quarterbacks that people look at and think are credible, like franchise quarterbacks. And so, yeah, I don't want him. Like, I look forward to see what McCarthy does next year with
Yeah.
O'Connell's tutelage. But yeah, I think Darnold's who he is going to be, but neither do I think I don't think it deserves the criticism. And I also think if it was anybody more established than Darnold, some of these fouls would most certainly be getting called on him.
Yeah.
It's starting to drive me nuts.
Yeah.